Burnout, unlike the arcade racing series with the exact same name, sucks, especially for artists and creatives. After all, how are we supposed to get out there and make cool stuff if we can't even feel motivated enough to get out of bed in the morning because we feel so tired and so lethargic? And let's be honest, burnout is not a fun topic. It's not a fun thing to talk about, but it's reality. I've struggled with burnout tremendously these past few years, and I only recently discovered tools that can help me unravel those feelings of anxiety, those feelings of stress, and those feelings of burnout. First, I want to define what burnout actually is. Then we're going to move on to 5 tools that you can use in your daily life to help break out of the burnout cycle. How do we fix burnout? Is that even possible? Is that an attainable goal? That's what we're going to discuss in this video. And a huge thank you to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video and sending over their E7 Pro standing desk. Without further ado though, let's jump right into it. What you're seeing in the background here is a time-lapse of me creating a low-poly version of my good friend King's character doll. So even if you don't care about a word I'm about to say, hey, at least you'll have something nice to look at. This video required many hours of burnout and mental health research from all manner of different books, podcast episodes, and articles. So please make sure to like the video below, subscribe, and turn on the bell for instant channel notifications because we have more incoming content that'll help you become a better creator soon. As with all tools and advice though, your mileage may vary. Take only what you find helpful here and discard the rest. But now let's actually define what burnout is. We can think of burnout as mental or emotional exhaustion that is often accompanied by physical exhaustion. Symptoms of burnout are usually increased anxiety, increased stress levels, feelings of apathy or just general disinterest in doing most things, and lack of enthusiasm, along with emotional flare-ups, meaning that it's a lot easier to get angry or upset at even seemingly super minor things a lot more easily when you're burnt out. As I'm sure you already know, it's so hard to feel motivated when you're burnt out because burnout makes us feel awful, reduces our levels of energy, all the while it increases our levels of stress and anxiety. Your projects are going to be so much more prone to mistakes and errors while you're burnt out, which is going to result in them being lower quality or just not getting finished at all. Completely avoiding burnout is all but impossible. However, given that we know the signs of burnout are exhaustion, apathy, emotional flare-ups, anxiety, and increased stress, we can take notice of when we're feeling any of these symptoms. And once we do, there are steps we can take to reduce our stress levels, feel more motivated, and fix our burnout. So let's go over the key concept we have to understand in order to reduce burnout in our lives. As explained by the psychologist researchers Amelia and Emily Nagoski in their book Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle, the human body is designed to experience stress as a response to perceived threats as they arise around us. However, in modern times, we regularly encounter sources of stress, also known as stressors, that don't require a physical fight or flight style response. This leads to what the Nagosis describe as incomplete stress cycles. These incomplete stress cycles, where we experience stressors that don't require a fight or flight style response, are what cause the pent-up anxiety and stress that sticks with us that we describe as burnout, they argue. And as a result, the way to significantly reduce stress and burnout is to complete the stress cycle, because completing this cycle allows your body to fully process and release all the stress that has been stored in these stress cycles over time. But how can we actually complete a stress cycle in order that we reduce burnout and stress levels? Well, it's actually very simple. You do activities, often physical ones, that signal to your body that the perceived threat has passed. Doing this prevents the continued buildup of stress hormones and reduces the negative impact of these built up incomplete stress response cycles on your body and mind, which in turn improves your physical and mental well-being. But what do you actually need to complete the stress cycle? What kind of activities signal to your body that these threats it's perceived have passed? Let's go over the 5 things you can do to complete this stress cycle and feel less burnt out. If you have one takeaway from this video, let it be this. The primary way to complete the stress response and reduce burnout is through physical activity. That can be through walking, running, dancing, swimming, whatever gets you moving. I use this to reduce my levels of burnout literally every day and have found it to be the most consistently useful and effective technique to reduce burnout by far. For example, as I'm writing the script for this video, I have hit points where I start to feel stressed. especially when I've been working on it for, an hour or two and haven't taken any breaks. When I start to pick up that I'm feeling stressed, however, I'll head outside and go on a walk or a bike ride. If this is the first time you're doing this, your brain is going to scream at you that you're wasting your time and that there's no way this could possibly make you feel any better. Just stick with it though, because you'll almost certainly feel better by the time you're done. You don't even need to go outside, just any activity that gets your body moving, like yoga. The authors of Burnout even recommend a technique called progressive muscle relaxation that can help you complete the burnout cycle by tensing and releasing muscles that can signal to your body that the fight or flight threat has passed. But don't take my word for it on this. Next time you're feeling any of the symptoms of burnout, including feeling stressed or anxious, try going on a walk or a run or any other physical activity that gets your body moving, and let me know in the comments if it helped. Worst case scenario, you're gonna get some exercise. Exploring the things that make you feel inspired and happy can really tremendously help in reducing your levels of burnout. For example, I love watching movies, not only because it's an art form that I'm really passionate about, but also because with film, as we get emotionally invested in these characters and their stories, we tend to experience their emotions as if they were our own, and that feeling is so cathartic. It's unsurprising then that this helps us complete the stress response and reduce underlying feelings of burnout and tension, because film lets us experience such a wide range of emotions fully. And for me, just the act of focusing on a movie feels like a form of mindfulness almost, where I am forced to stay present and really focus on just one thing for sometimes hours on end. I'd encourage you to experiment on your own and find what things in your life help you recharge and get inspired to get going. I think it's also important that your workspace is inspiring and healthy. After all, if you're spending hours there, it's one of the best investments you can make into yourself as a creative. That's why I'd recommend today's sponsor, FlexiSpot's E7 Pro standing desk. I've been using standing desks for years, and I think it's one of the most important pillars of ensuring that you have a great environment to create in. Being able to transition from sitting to standing constantly during my workday keeps me moving and reduces the strain sitting for hours on end can put on your body. FlexiSpot lets you create and choose your preferred desktop material of choice and lets you attach it to their frame like so. You can use these buttons to change your standing desk height to quickly switch between standing and sitting during work sessions. The keypad features 4 memory presets and a built-in charger, and the E7 Pro can hold up to 440 pounds thanks to its unique construction. The black S07LB underdesk drawer attachment was also incredibly easy to install and holds lots of accessories that I use on a daily basis. And thank you once again so much to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. Use my code YTE7P50 to get an extra $50 off on an E7 Pro, E7 Plus, and the E7L. Link is in the description below. We know from boatloads of research that slow, deep breaths can help calm your nervous system and reduce stress. Just a few minutes of this daily can have significant improvements to your mood and even improve your attention span. This style of practice can also help you focus on the present moment in order to let go of worries of the past and future, in a similar way that the physical activity and movements found in yoga can help you complete the stress response. In fact, there are plenty of guided meditation videos that you can watch right here on YouTube for free that can help you relax tremendously. They aren't sponsoring me or anything, but there's also an incredible app for Android and iPhones called Balance that I would highly recommend for those who struggle with anxiety and burnout. It gives you personalized meditation sessions based on your very specific preferences and needs, and I cannot recommend it enough. This one's kind of obvious, but engaging in positive social interaction with friends or family and just laughing can help you complete the stress cycle and process your emotions. Allowing yourself to share your emotions in a social setting like this can help you complete the stress response cycle, and this is another one of the many reasons why therapy can be so helpful. You need to digest all of your emotional experiences the same way you digest your food, over time, and doing so socially can help you complete the stress response cycle and process your emotional experience. For me, this is one of the most enjoyable and satisfying ways to complete the stress response cycle, which is expressing yourself creatively. So engaging in activities that get you moving and expressing yourself, even if it's just using your hands, can actually help complete the stress cycle. There's a few reasons for this. One, you're moving your body, even if it's just your hands, and creating something often requires that you're expressing yourself emotionally onto the paper or whatever your medium is. Plus, it's also a form of mindfulness, because when you're engaged in a creative act, it usually requires all of your attention. Sometimes sometimes for hours on end. So it makes sense that expressing yourself creatively would help complete the stress response cycle. And for me personally, I like to draw in either a huge newsprint sketch pad to relax or doodle in my sketchbook using graphite pencils or ink, but of course you can express yourself however you want. If you wanted to use clay, if you wanted to paint, it can be any creative act you can think of. Even activities you might not even normally think as being creative, like cooking, can get your hands moving and requires a level of craft that can be very relaxing. Experiment and find what creative outlets you find most relaxing and rewarding. So that about covers burnout. Let's review everything that we've learned and make sure to stick around because we're about to see what my final animations and 3D model of doll ended up looking like. The reality is that completing the stress cycle is just a tool, and these are just the tools and techniques that have worked for me personally. None of this is meant to totally remove or eliminate stress from your life completely. Instead, it's about learning how to manage stress in a healthy way so that it doesn't totally overwhelm you. So my hope is that by incorporating some of these techniques we just mentioned that help you complete the stress response cycle into your daily routine, that you can help reduce the overall negative impacts of stress on your physical and mental health and overall feel more motivated and empowered to help fix this feeling of burnout. As with all advice, your mileage may vary, so just take what you've heard here that makes sense to you and discard the rest. But that's just burnout. How can we get motivated and stay motivated so that we can accomplish our goals? We're going to be talking about that soon, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications for future videos on this topic. Once again, a huge thank you to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video and sending over their E7 Pro standing desk. FlexiSpot provides all kinds of standing desks and ergonomic chairs to meet your needs. And if you want a really stable premium frame perfect for your work, I'd highly recommend their E7 Plus standing desk. They also have comfortable ergonomic chairs with flexible adjustments for your back, so make sure to use my code to get an extra $50 off on the E7 Pro, E7 Plus, and also the E7L. But now let's see what my final 3D model and animations with doll ended up looking like. Make sure to check out my full character modeling playlist on YouTube if you want a breakdown of how to make your own characters in this style using Blender. If you want to jumpstart your journey into making low poly characters, make sure to check out the Gumroad version of that series because it has a bunch of bonuses that are greatly going to speed up your character creation process. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.